going to learn about the market orientation and cross-functional teams, or how organization they work, especially high-tech companies, they work cross-functionally, and why it is important. Okay, so what would be the main issues, challenges, and the benefits while working cross-functional? Okay, so this is the today's lesson. So today's lesson would be mainly on understanding what is market orientation. So what is actually your market orientation, and what does a market orientation firm look like? Why is organization memory important? The purpose of cross-functional team and the performance of cross-functional team. Okay, so these are the main questions to be considered. So let's talk about the market orientation. Market orientation is basically a company's or a firm's decision making process in which they are more focused toward the customer rather than the technology or organization. So mainly they are focusing on customer needs. Okay, so that is the market orientation, or simply market orientation is the decisions of any organization based on the data collected by the marketing department from the customer or based on their experience or observation. Okay, so this is how we can consider that market orientation is there. Okay. Okay. Now, market orientation is basically very important for the organization, and it is a very crucial part of the decision making process. Okay, so basically market orientation firms oriented or market oriented firm means that they collect data from the market. Okay, so basically the purpose is they collect data from the market and try to analyze and make decisions based on the available data. Okay, means that the data allow us to make decisions, right? And that data is coming from the market. Okay, so that is why it is called market intelligence. Okay, so you are going to develop your market intelligence. Okay, so that is why market oriented firms gather, disseminate and utilized market based information. Okay, so market orientation mean you are not making decision based on your preferences or your choices. Rather, you make decision based on the information you collected from the market. Okay, from your through your marketing department or customer service, or many other options are available, but all these data can be useful for organization in order to make their decisions. What type of decisions? All types of decision: the product manufacturing, product cost, marketing. All these decisions can be made based on this information. Remember, the customers are not only buying your product or consuming your product because they are the main feature of your existence. Why your company exists is because of your customer. Okay, so that is why that market information is very important. So I'm not going deep into this because you all are from technology or marketing background, so that is why you can understand that how much is important to collect that information from the market. Okay, now mainly there are some attributes. If you want to see whether the company is market oriented or not, you can just identify. Okay, first, either they exhibit a customer focus. If yes, they can be considered a market oriented firm. Okay, decision grounded in analysis of the intended user mean that decisions are based on the customer, the users, not based on your internal designing or internal capabilities. It depends on the user. Okay, and they harness connect the power of cross-functional teams to deliver customer value. So the main or important part is they always try to deliver customer value. What is customer value? Any added feature that help or that fulfill the needs of the customer is called a customer value. Okay, now these concepts are very clear, so it means that any company or any organization or any high-tech firm can be considered a market oriented if they follow customer focus, user intention, the mean that they design for user and they use cross-functional teams in order to deliver customer value. Okay, so this is very important to understand. If I say here, everybody, can you tell me two companies in the world which are high-tech companies but they are market oriented, also the market orientation? Okay, and one or two companies they are not market orientation or they are not market oriented, rather they are design oriented. They work with their designs and then they send it, not working for or getting information from the market or users. Okay, so can you think and give me your answers? I'm giving you 3 to 5 minutes to think about it and reply. The point is very simple, whether you can label a company market oriented or not a market oriented company. So you have to give me examples, two companies which you feel they are perfectly example of a perfect example of market orientation, and a company or two companies which are not market oriented, rather they are their capabilities or design oriented. Okay, so can you think and give me examples? uh, Please write your answers in the chat box if you have any idea. So just quickly write down. If you don't have, just try to think of different products and see whether the company who are manufacturing these products, they are market oriented or not. Okay, so please, I need your replies, I need your answers quickly. Yes, Coca-Cola, Nike, Amazon. Google is also a true example of market orientation, because these are the best companies who are collecting data from the customer, means that we are the users. So all the data for the Google development they use from our sources. So it means that they collect it from the customers or users. Perfect example. Good. Intel, Apple. Okay, how Intel is a market oriented company? Mm, it can be. It can be. Apple can be also. Okay, let's move on. So when you are using market data or data collected from the market or the users or the customers, it allow you to increase the productivity and the creativity of the product. How? For example, if I am a user of MacBook, so if I face any challenges, any issues, the MacBook will collect data. So if any problem exists, I can just refer to them and they will collect these data from all users, and based on this data they will give us their new version. Okay, and it means that it will increase creativity. The different problems will give you the different options to solve problems. Okay, so it means that in order to what I can say, in order to meet the customer expectations, you are collecting data from the customer and try to solve these problems. This means that you have to do it with creativity and you have to do it in a way that the customer needs can be satisfied. Okay, so it means that the market orientation allow us performance, productivity and creativity. Okay, clear? So if you see, most of the companies they collect data from the customer. Very, very, very important. Okay, so in that case it means that most of the companies they collect data from the customers and they always try to improve their products based on the customers feedback. Okay, clear? Okay, let's move on. So if you want to find out whether the company is market oriented or not, you can do it easily now, right? There are a few companies which may not be market oriented, but still they are very high tech products. Okay, for example, um, let's take the example of SpaceX. SpaceX is design oriented, not the customer oriented, because the most of their users are not the no common people. So it means that they are just designing for the creativity and productivity, because they believe sometime the inventor or the companies, they believe their idea is so much innovative, and it will bring a radical innovation. That is mean that the people will use this product for the first time. That's why there is no requirement for the customer to give the data or input. But still, somehow they use the requirement of the future, mean that still the data is involved, but not like the other companies who are really a market oriented firm. So that is why most of the big companies, they want to be market oriented. They always stay in contact with the customer, and they want to collect data from the customer in order to increase their creativity and performance. Okay, so let's move on. So here we are very clear about that the companies should be market oriented, especially the high tech products. You can sell them if the people are willing to buy. And why people are willing to buy? Because they have belief in the product, and they believe that this product will solve their problems or their needs will be satisfied. Okay, so that is why the people will like to buy your products or services. In that case, if you see, market orientation is important, but how we can do this market orientation? How can a company be a market oriented company? How market orientation can be inculcated within the process or within the manufacturing of high tech product or services? Okay, so the process of high tech orientation is basically 4 steps. You can consider them steps, or you can consider them the dimensions. Okay, now what is that? The first thing is you have to generate the intelligence, market intelligence. Okay, what is market intelligence? We will talk about it in a while, but first step is to generate the market intelligence. Second step is to market intelligence dissemination among your customer and among your employees. And then you have to integrate that intelligence within the system, and it can flow in your system, and at the end you can take actions based on what you learn from the market from the previous 3 steps. Okay, so once you are able to integrate your market intelligence within the system, the next step would be you can do the coordinated actions. Okay, now the coordinated actions is actually the cross functional teams. Okay, I will tell you why and how these cross functional teams are very important, and they are related to the this. Okay, so let's move on to the first step. So is it clear? The 4 steps are clear? Okay, so we will talk about these 4 steps in detail later today in this class. But before reaching to that starting, why market orientation is important and how it affects your company, especially the high-tech industry. Okay, now if you see market orientation, if your company is market oriented, it means that they can produce superior quality, they can produce superior services, and they can produce innovative products. Okay, this is very important. In order to be a superior product quality holder, or to be a superior quality service quality holder, or to create innovative product, or to develop innovative product, you have to be market oriented. Okay, the company should get data from the market and use it for their improvement purposes. Okay, that will lead you to profitability and sales growth. Obviously, if your product quality is superior, people will love to buy your products. Okay, that is why it is very important for all of us to understand, if we are working in a high-tech market or high-tech firm, the main objective of the company is to sell their product to the customer. And remember, high-tech marketing or high-tech products are expensive. So people can buy if they believe in the quality, services, and the creativity of the product. Okay, so that is why most of these features, they are available based on the market orientation. Okay, if you consider, for example, the Apple companies, in this case, okay, for example, the Apple. Now you can see that Apple, they are innovative. They mostly, the people believe in their innovation. They have new product, and I think these products are different from the normal product available in the market. Even though they are not different, but they label it like this, it is different, and the people believe in this. That is why the people are buying Apple product like crazy. Okay, so in that case, it means that the Apple products are superior in quality, they are superior in services. You can talk to them, their help services or their customer service department is very efficient, and finally they are innovative. But all these are possible because they collect data from the customer in the real time in order to improve their products or services. Okay, so that is why the people believe in the product. So this is how market orientation can help any organization or any company or any high-tech firm to increase their sales, because it can increase quality, it can increase service quality, it can increase innovativeness in the company. Okay, so that is why how it is important. Okay, now if we see that this is most of the same points which I already mentioned here. The firm with the strong R&D base gain the most from the strong market capabilities. So market capabilities or dynamic markets, it means that the industry is competitive and many new players are always there, and people always favor in creativity, quality, and service quality. So if you can increase these, obviously your sales are going to be increased. Okay, now we are using two new terms here. Proactive market oriented firm generate more innovative products. Obviously proactive means that we collect data from the customer and use it for the future product. Okay, so the example is in front of you. For example, Microsoft, or for example Apple, for example Samsung. Whatever feedback you give them, they will improve the product based on your requirements. Okay, so these are proactive firms, and that is why they are producing more innovative products. Okay, so that is how these companies are working. Okay, now let's start with the first point in the 4 steps process of market orientation generation. So you remember what are these 4 steps? First is intelligence generation. Can you repeat in with me? First is intelligence generation. The second is intelligence dissemination. The third one is integration, intelligence integration, and the fourth one is the coordinated actions or activities. Okay, generation, dissemination, integration, and action. These are the 4 steps which you need to follow before you consider yourself as a market orientation or market oriented company. Okay, now let's talk about the first step, which is market intelligence generation. Okay, remember, it is very important to be a market oriented company. For that reason, most of these companies, they are trying to develop market intelligence. Now what is market intelligence? How quickly or how accurately you can determine, or you can predict, or you can estimate customers' needs. That is market intelligence. Okay, so you have to see what are the market trends and how people, they are using your product and what new features or new options they need in your product. Okay, that is how we call market intelligence generation. So if you are able to collect this information in real time, you would be the one who can use this information in a systematic way to improve your product quality or services. Okay, now for example, needs, customer needs, we talk about the needs. Okay, so three important things here: the customer needs, competitors, and the technologies. For example, needs. The customer needs are two types. One is for current and the next is for the future. Are you focusing on the current needs only, or you are working for the future needs, customer needs also? Okay, so you have to think over it, whether you are using customer data to identify their current needs or to identify their future needs. So what would be your answer if I ask you this question? How you are going to use this data? Will you use it for the current or for the future need of the customer to determine the needs of the customer? So will you do it for the current or future? Please, I need your answers. Please, everybody, can you give me your replies? Will you use customer or market information to fulfill customers' current need or future need? What is your opinion on this? We can use it for the customer current needs, or we can use it for the customer future need. This is called two focus or bifocal orientation. Okay, so what does it mean? That you should not only focus on the current need. If there is anything urgent, you will focus on the current needs, but at the same time you will also focus on the future needs. Very good answer. It means that we have to focus on both current and future needs. That is why the customer needs are ever changing. That's why we need to try to predict the future requirements also. So your product, the more your product is able to fulfill the customer's future need, the more lifetime you have for your product. It is very simple and common sense. For example, if you have a product or if you have a mobile phone and it fulfill your needs for 3 or 4 years, you will use it. But if it cannot fulfill your needs after 1 year, so you will replace it. That is simple. So it means that the companies, they are not working for the current only, they are working for future only. For example, you have your mobile devices. So all these mobile devices, you can see that they have a lot of features which you are not using for now, but maybe in future you are using them. So the capability of devices are more than your needs. If you see, our needs are not much more than the devices, most of these devices. In some cases, yes, we do need, for example, the laptops were not meant to be used for online meetings or all this so frequently, but in the current situation we can see that all mobiles, laptops are being used for online communication, especially the video meetings. So that is why most of the companies, they are bringing laptops, the new laptops with the HD camera. The previously it was not needed, that's why mostly they were in simple cameras. Okay, so that is how the high-tech products are important in order to fulfill customers' current need and also in future needs also. Okay, and then competitors. That is very important point. When you are generating your intelligence, you should not just focus on the customers. You should focus on the stakeholders. Remember this point. It is a very important point. So market orientation is not just about the customer. It is about the stakeholders. So means that stakeholders are everyone who is involved directly or indirectly with your products. Okay, so suppliers, your competitors, all these are the people which you need to understand their needs and their future capabilities also. So you have to lock into the capabilities of your competitors, and what strategies they are using to promote their product or to get the market intelligence. Okay, so market intelligence generation is important. So you have to develop the mechanism, you have to develop something through which you can collect this information, and at the same time you have to check the emerging technologies. So you have to be focused not only on the existing technologies but also the emerging technologies. You know, if you remember, I discussed this point. Technologies can be categorized into 3 or 4 different types. Okay, the first one is the most important, which the technologies we need to run the daily business. Okay, so these are our must technologies or mandatory technologies or compulsory technologies. Okay, so these are called technology base. Okay, the second one is you use them for your development, the business development, okay, or product development. That is your second layer of technologies. And the final technologies are those technologies. These technologies are emerging technologies, which means that they are not available in the market, but still the concept and initial ideas are there, and future will be relying on these technologies. So these are called emerging technologies. So you should be focused on the customer, you should be focused on the competitor, and you should be focused on emerging technologies in your area. Okay, so remember, this is very important, but this can be possible with some cost. Obviously you have to collect data from the customer. That's why you need to develop some budget, or you need to allocate some budget. So these are some list of expenditure of R&D staffing and the market research person. So we have to allocate some budget in order to do market research. That is very important. Okay, so market research expenditures are very important. Okay, companies benefit on the revenue because more allocation for the market research person. Obviously if you have more revenues, you can allocate more money for the market research. Okay, so market research is very important part, because through this market research you can get the data from the customer, you can map your competitors, or you can identify the emerging technologies in your field. Okay, so that is why all of these market technology intelligence generation is based on the market research. That is why the next section is all about market research. We will talk about that in the next class. Okay, so this is important. Now I use two terms, responsive or proactive. Okay, you can generate intelligence, you can generate market intelligence, you can generate market information system, but with the two different methods, responsive or proactive. We call it passive or optimistic. Okay, so responsive or proactive. Responsive strategy or responsive action is basically, it is a type of market orientation in which you will wait for something to happen, and then in a response you will develop your intelligence or your product or services. For example, if your customer, they complain, okay, your product is not suitable for them, in order to resolve their complaints you will upgrade your product. This is called a responsive market orientation. Okay, now the proactive is, on the other hand, it is difficult and it is also very innovative. Why it is innovative? In a proactive approach, you try to assess customers' future need and develop your product based on that idea. So if you remember, there are two things, current need and future need. So by doing your responsive market orientation, you can only satisfy customers' current need by incremental innovation. Okay, so through incremental innovation. Do you remember what is incremental innovation? Adding feature to the new or existing products. Okay, so in the responsive state, you can be able to do this incremental innovation, and you can just fulfill customers' current need. But by proactive approach, you can highlight or you can fulfill customers' future need, and you can also develop radical technologies. Okay, radical technologies or breakthrough technologies. Okay, that is proactive approach. So if you predict customer future need, you can develop or you can invent something which may be customer they don't need now, but they will be needing in future. So that is called proactive orientation. So you have choice whether you go for responsive and proactive. In my opinion, as we discussed in the previous slide, we have to focus on both. So it should be proactive and it should be responsive as well. Okay. Now, responsive market orientation, responding to current need. This is, I think, which I already explained to you. The current reliant bias and training dominate the serve market, solving customer need with existing technologies. Okay, so means that you can just develop existing and reacting to the customer complaints. Okay, for example, proactive is different. Okay, so that is why in proactive you try to predict future need and try to respond to those, or try to develop product that customer may be need in the future, and that will allow you to develop radical innovation. Okay, so that is why we call it our strategy for intelligence generation should be bifocal. It means that it should be focused on the current and it should be focused on the future customer need. Okay, so is this clear up till here? Any question here? Any point? Anything you want to discuss? So are you clear about the market intelligence generation?
Yes, sir.
I am recording this lecture and I will upload later on. So if you want to see in detail later on, you can do it. But remember, market intelligence generation is a process in which you develop your intelligence, or the way through which you can collect data or get information from the market, from your customers, from your competitors, in order to determine their current or their future needs. And also you should be focused on your technological framework, mean that what are emerging technologies in your field. Okay, so that allow you to develop your product more efficiently. This is called market technology, market orientation generations. Okay, now as I mentioned, the theory says that the responsive market orientation will lead you to development of incremental innovations, which is I already explained. Okay, and proactive orientation will allow you to develop new product or radical innovation or breakthrough innovation. Okay, and firm, obviously I explained this point also, firm must be focused on both points. Some part you need to improve your existing product, and also you try to develop radical innovation or new product. Okay, now this is the first step. First step is clear. Okay, first step is very simple. Collect data and from the market, but you can do it through two approaches, responsive or proactive. A responsive approach is to determine customers' current need or problems. Proactive is means that the customer's future needs and future requirements. Okay, so this is how we can develop market intelligence. Okay, so first is development, the second is dissemination. So if you have market intelligence, you have the capabilities to get the information from the market. The next step would be to disseminate that information, to share that information within your organization. Okay, within your organization, so people can learn and you can develop more and more good products. Okay, that is how your innovative process should work. Okay, so you should disseminate information clearly. But what happens actually, many companies, they have generated this capability to collect data from the market. They are collecting, they are accumulating these data in their databases or within their organization, but they are not sharing it with their employees, their R&D staff, and their customer, nothing. So they are keeping it to themselves. That create a problems, because once the data is with you and you are not using, the knowledge is not being used, it means that it don't have any use. It don't have any benefit for the organization and for the customer. So that is the biggest example or biggest obstacle in dissemination of intelligence. So development is very okay. We develop that information, we develop that knowledge, but at the same time, once you develop that knowledge, the next stage is to obviously disseminate or to share or to encourage people to receive that knowledge through the communication, through the written document, through the seminars, webinars. So all these efforts are required in order to disseminate information within the organization. Okay. By doing this, you can accelerate the innovation process. Okay. But remember what happens, most of the companies, they are knowledge hoarders. They are just accumulators. They are just collecting knowledge, collecting knowledge, collecting knowledge. But when it comes to share the knowledge, they are not so much open. Okay, they are very much likely to keep this information within their organization or within themselves. They are not open to share the knowledge. So that is why this knowledge, even though it is being generated from the market, but it have not been used. Okay, so that is why you have to create a boundaryless organization, means that there should be no boundary to the information, so everybody can collect that information or get access to that information that are vital in order to develop your customers, your product that fulfill customers needs. Okay, that is why you have to work and you have to develop the dissemination of the knowledge process. So once knowledge is being gathered, the second step is knowledge to be disseminated, to be shared among your employees or your people or the team who are working on those innovative project and research and development. Okay, so clear? So dissemination is important. Clear? The first step is gathering, collecting. The second step is sharing. Okay, clear? Clear? Okay, let me move on. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now the third step, I'm going quickly now because I think it's around 1 hour. So in 30 minutes, I will try to finish my lecture so you can start your class activity. Okay. Okay, now the next step is intelligence integration. This is also called knowledge management. So once you are collecting knowledge, you are collecting information from the market, the next step is to integrate that knowledge within the organization structure. That is why we have this organization memory. That is why you have this learning management system, ULearn. So what are you doing? You are using this ULearn to optimize your learning experience. We are sharing all the information, all the knowledge which we develop through the classes, through the class activities or everything. So we preserve that knowledge. Okay. So that is called knowledge integration. So you should integrate knowledge within the organization so people can access this knowledge easily and increase their learning. Okay. Now, practices used to document, preserve, store and disperse knowledge assets. Okay, so that is important. So knowledge integration is important. It creates opportunity for the people working in the organization to learn more and to develop more. So it means that it is associated with learning orientation. And this data can be saved into the organizational memory. So once you receive this data, you have different software devices, technologies. These technologies are valuable in order to save your data permanently. We call it organizational memory. The systems we use to preserve our data is called organizational memory. Okay, so we use these systems, the digital system technologies, web-based technologies, to get this organizational memory. Means that the information or the knowledge generated need to be saved. But here we have a little challenge. Do you know knowledge have two different types? We call it tacit and explicit, right? You remember? Tacit and explicit. Remember, tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. Explicit knowledge, I think it is the knowledge which we can document easily, but the tacit knowledge is the values, the practices the people do in the organization, mean that they are not written, they are not saved in the organizational memory. But still, we need to translate all these practices which cannot be saved because the people, they learn it from their experiences. So we can try to make it document, make it explicit. Okay, so once anything is documented, it means that other people can learn it easily. That is why we have training programs, written activities, and even your class activities is the part of that learning process. So once you listen to my lecture, it means that you are able to understand a few part of it, but when you apply it, it means that this is something different. So you learn from your experiences, and these experiences should be part of the organizational memory. That is why we always try to transfer tacit to explicit knowledge. Okay, now the final point of this discussion is action. Now this is where your cross-functional teams are needed. Okay, we learn from the organization, we learn from the market, we learn from the market means that we collect data or we gather data from the market. Then we disseminate that data within the organization. Then we integrate that knowledge within the organization through the organizational memory, so people can learn more and more. Okay, so the learning orientation need to be included. And finally, how we can use this data to develop our new product or services. This is where your cross-functional teams or cross-functional integration is needed. You have to work between the teams. Different teams, they need to work together, and they need to develop a mechanism through which knowledge can be shared and the products can be manufactured easily. Let me give you one big example of cross-functional team. Remember cross-functional working. The biggest inventions of 80s and 90s was Sony Walkman. Have you ever heard about the Sony Walkman? Anybody? Do you know what is Walkman? What is that? Have you seen the cassette player? The old cassette players? Okay, if you have not seen it, you can Google it. Obviously, the information is available. So previously, if you remember, audio systems were very different. We were having very big cassette players, audio players. We call them cassette players because the cassette was the medium we use for saving our audio data. Okay, and then we have to play it on a player which we call it cassette player. Okay, and the speaker was inbuilt with that cassette player, very big speakers, or it was a very heavy equipment. Okay, like maybe like your laptop is very much smaller. Even your PC is smaller than the cassette player. So cassette player was very big. So what Sony did, Sony basically invented a player, a cassette player with a very smaller size. That was a very big invention from the Sony. Okay, so the plan was Sony want to reduce the size of the cassette player. Okay, so what they did, and also that one department was developing this Sony cassette player, which was basically a small size cassette player, and then one department, they were working for reducing the speaker size. Okay, reducing the speaker size. Remember this what we call it handphone and mic or speaker, so like headset, which you use headset, but previously we were giving it another name. Headphones, I think headphones. Okay, now these headphones are being developed by Sony. Okay, so what was happening there? The two different departments were working together. One department, working separately, not together. One department was working to reduce the size of the cassette player, and one department was working to reduce the size of the speaker and trying to develop headphones. Okay, now these headphones were in a separate department and this cassette player was in a separate department. So the CEO of this designing Sony, he was just wandering one day and visiting different departments, and he asked his R&D team in the cassette player department, what are you doing now these days? They showed him all the work they are doing it. They were basically developing something to reduce the size. So they actually have developed a very small size cassette player. And then he went to the next department, and that department was about speaker. And they were trying to develop something very small, which is basically the headphones. And this guy, he came with a very brilliant idea. He said, why not you two departments work together and develop something, we call it Walkman. Now that is why it is called Walkman, because the people can listen it while they are walking, while they are doing their exercise, while they are working. So that is how this big invention came into existence, with a simple idea of cross-functional team coordination. So that is why sometimes big ideas, they need integration, cross-functional integration. They need to do interfunctional, interdivisional, or maybe interdepartmental work together. So this is how these actions require cross-functional teams. So different ideas, we can combine them in order to get a very highly sophisticated breakthrough innovations. Okay, so that is why this cross-functional teams or cross-functional working or coordination is very important. And I gave you the example of Sony, which is the biggest example of innovative ideas in 1980s or 90s. Okay, so that brings Sony a big name. After this, Sony never came back. So Sony was one of the best Walkman, and recently also you can see that Sony name is very big in technology. Okay, so this is how cross-functional department should work. But remember, cross-functional department or the working coordination needs some acceptance from both sides. So that is why if the organization culture is not suitable, the people, they are not willing to share, or they are not willing to help each other, or they are not willing to forgive each other, in that case, this type of the organization, the result would be a disaster. while they are working in coordination or cross-functional team. So for the cross-functional team, you should sit with other department, listen to them. If their ideas are better, try to execute and change your department as well. So that is why this is very important. A culture that facilitate this type of coordination is needed in the organization. Okay, so coordinated actions are required cross-functional working or cross-functional coordination, but obviously the culture, organizational, political structure, the competition between the departments, these are all important barriers for the coordinated actions. Remember, sometimes you need to work with the competition, mean that sometime although we are in competition but still we can collaborate. That is the example of Samsung and Apple, because if we remember this iPhone X, I think iPhone X, the screen was initially manufactured by Samsung, okay, and later on obviously Apple have developed their own capabilities, but they work together. So this is called competition. Although you are competitor, but still you can work together in order to maximize your profits. Okay, so this is how we say coordinated actions are required. Okay, clear? Okay, now how we can assess the firm market orientation. Okay, now this is where your class activity comes in. I would request everybody to be focused on this point. This is your class activity. You have to give me the market orientation of 3 companies. Apple, kindly write with you. Apple, Samsung, and let's say Huawei. Okay, so 3 companies: Apple, Samsung and Huawei. You have to assess their firm's market orientation. Okay, you have to consider yourself as their employee, although some questions are like you cannot answer them, but try to pretend them, try to make yourself or consider yourself as an employee of their R&D and give the answers based on your perception of that company. Okay, so you can give the answers to these questions from strongly disagree to strongly agree, and these are the ratings. Okay, so you can see the ratings are very simple. If strongly disagree, it means that -3, disagree -2, disagree slightly -1, agree slightly 1, moderately 2, and strongly agree 3. Okay, so these are the answer you can choose from each of these questions. And if your answer is negative, it means that you are not a market oriented firm. Okay, if low positive, it means that you are market oriented firm, but still you need to improve, because this is not a very good score. But high score are important and relatively rare. High score mean that the firm is truly market oriented and they are focusing on customers and the competitor, and they are flexible. So that is why you have to answer these questions. But these questions would be on 4 different components. So here are the questions. Okay, so first is intelligence generation, which is customers, competitors, and proactive. Okay, the second one is dissemination. These are the questions. And next is integration and coordinated actions. Okay, okay, please look at these questions again. So you have to answer all these questions based on this rating, and finally you have to calculate the score. If your score is minus, it means that your firm is not a market oriented. They need strong improvement in their processes. Okay, but if your low positive score, it means that you need to improve. But high scores mean that you are a very good, a very high competitive firm. Okay, so you should do it on 3 firms. One is Apple, second is Samsung, and the third one is Huawei. So you should consider yourself as an employee of all these 3 companies and reply to these questionnaire and calculate your answer. Okay, so this is how you have to do it. This is the class activity. Okay, clear? Any question on the class activity? Okay, so if this thing is clear, let me just move on to the next point, which is very important. You want to become a market oriented firm or market oriented high tech firm. There are 4 different aspects you should consider, 4 different conditions. The most important, top management support, how top management is supporting these market oriented activities, which leads to market research. So whether they give you funding, whether they give you money, allocate resources for this market research, they are interested or they are truly interested in this or not. Okay, so this is top management support. Second, you have to prioritize information gathering need. What information need to be collected? Okay, this is very important. All these information you are looking for are related to one particular product. In one market research, you cannot do all product or services or everything. So you have to prioritize which one is the most important. Just go for that market research first and then later on with the next 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the first thing is top management support. The second thing is what are your priorities. The third one is you have to decentralize organization structure. Mean that if the power is with one person only and your organization is too much central, it means that it will not allow you to do any activities which are beyond the organizational limitations. Okay, that is why it is important for all of us to make it a decentralized organization if we want to do market orientation or if we want to collect information from the market. Okay, and finally, market-based reward system, that is very important. So you should introduce any rewards for those activities which foster creativity and improvement in your product based on the market decisions. Okay, so these are 4 important conditions to becoming a marketing oriented firm. Okay, clear? So these are simple explanations, but remember, you have to consider while you are developing your priorities, very important, while you are developing your priorities, you have to choose from the 4 different types of the strategies. What are these 4 strategies? Do you remember? We have market or product leaders, fast followers. Okay, then we have prospectors, the pioneer, the follower. Analyzers are the second one, the fast followers. And then we have operationally excellent, the companies or the product which have operational excellence, and the final is differentiate, defender. These, I think we discussed these 4 strategies in lecture 1. So I hope so everybody is clear about these 4 strategies and you have done with the one class activity with these 4 strategies. So when you are prioritizing your information gathering needs, you should decide what type of strategy you are working for. If you are working for example, pioneer, the leaders of the product, it means that you will go with the radical innovation. It means that you have to think out of the box and you have to bring something new. That's why you will focus on customers' future need, not today's need. Okay, That is very important. So you determine your strategy and then act based on what you are working for, what you are understanding from that strategy. Okay, so you should consider prospectors are the one who are new in the industry. They introduce new products in the market, so that is why they need more radical innovation. They need more futuristic approach. Okay, so that is why they are prospectors, they are leaders. Okay, they are the one who introduce new product for the first time in the market. And then the fast follower, if you want to just analyze what available in the existing product and how we can quickly develop similar product, you would be an analyzer. So if you are an analyzer, focus on the information that is required to be an analyzer. You don't need to be a market leader, because you are not going to develop something new, but you are learning from the experiences of those who are already in the market. That's why it is called analyzer. Okay, now from that, if your point is to become a low cost defender, means that your product or your operations are so much operationally excellent that reduce the cost, it means that you need to focus on the information based on the operational excellence. Okay, so the information needed for the your strategy or for the market orientation is depending on what type of strategies you are working for. If you are working for low cost defender, you will go with that operational excellence. If you are going for pioneer, you will go with the new technologies and new products. Okay, and finally, if you want to add feature that are very much different from the other product, that you can go with the differentiated defender. So you are just focusing on customer imitation. You are working closely with the customer. That is why you want to focus, or you want to defend your existing customers, and that is why you collect data from them only. So okay, so it means that what type of information you are gathering from the market is depending on what type of strategy you are using for your marketing purposes for high-tech products. Okay, that is it for this lecture. I think the most of these concepts I have already decided or already described. So these are the same things you can just read, and you can understand these points very simply. Okay, I think there is nothing. Okay, nothing left for this lecture. Okay, so I hope so this lecture is very clear, but still I want to conclude this lecture within 2 or 3 minutes so you can understand what we learned today. So we learned today about the process of becoming a market oriented firm. There are 4 steps involved in market oriented firm. The first thing is market orientation, intelligence gathering. The second one is intelligence dissemination, and the third one is intelligence integration, and the fourth one is coordinated actions. Okay, remember, market oriented firms are those firms which collect data from the market based on the customers, competitors, or the emerging technologies in order to fulfill the customer's current and the future needs. Okay, bifocal. So this is why we want to be market oriented firm, because we want to improve our product innovation and product performance, okay, to increase our revenues. So I explained all these 4 steps in detail in this lecture, and you can understand that how we can collect or gather information, how we can disseminate, what are the barriers in dissemination, and how we can integrate that information in organizational memory or the people within the organization, and finally how we can develop new product based on the cross-functional coordination or coordinated actions. Okay, but for doing all these, we need 4 very important ingredients, 4 very important factors that can foster this market orientation market orientation process. The first thing is top management commitment. Okay. The second thing is your priorities. What type of priorities you are working for, means that what are the strategies you are focusing on. Then you have to decentralize your working mechanism or organization structure. And finally, you have to set the rewards, which are very important in order to motivate people to be a market leader through market orientation. Okay, I hope so. This lecture is detailed and very clear. Okay, now I open for question answers. Any question? But before this, again, I want to explain the class activity. Today you are having one class activity, which is basically you have to answer the questionnaire available in the slides and also available in the book, which I already shared with you. So these lecture or these questions, you can answer them based on the 3 companies. Consider yourself the employee of 3 companies. First you fill it for Apple, then you fill it for Samsung, and then you fill it for Huawei, and give me your answer whether you think these companies are truly market oriented companies or they need to improve. Okay, so that is your class activity for today. Okay, I hope so. With this, the things are very clear.